foremost, thank each and every one of you for attending tonight. This is really a special night with someone who's been an absolute integral part of our organization, Mr. Arias Garcia. So almost, I was looking up today, almost 15 years to the date, Arias and I met at a restaurant that I owned back in the day, and I acquired CFFC after they had done 5 events. Don't necessarily know if that was the smartest decision at the time, taking over the brand. But as you look forward to today, it certainly was. I remember my first encounter with Arias. We were downstairs at the restaurant, and I said, "What did you do for him?" So he told me, and I said, "Well, what do you want to do for the next stage of your life?" And he said, "I think I want to be the matchmaker." I said, "You have any experience?" He said, "No." I said, "All right, you're perfect. You're hired." At that time, we really didn't know what we were doing. I just knew that I loved combat sports, having wrestled my entire life. Always had a profound respect for the athletes that have participated in it. What they go through is absolutely incredible. You look at guys like Jonavin Webb, who came through our organization, made it to the highest level in the world, and we're accompanied tonight by Renato Moicano, who's, I'm not just saying this because you're here, you're absolutely my favorite fighter in the UFC right now. So I'm a little starstruck by the meeting. I'm not going to tell you that he's going to be Conor McGregor's replacement, but when that happens, say, "Holy shit, Rob was right." So after we met 15 years ago, February 4th, 2011, CFFC 6 was the first event that we did. Arias has been with us since that point to today. I mean, we're 100 plus events into this, 125. That first event, what sticks out the most is he actually put my wrestling coach and a good friend of mine, Anthony D'Agostino, who it was his first MMA fight, and he goes, "I have a guy for him, Jared Gordon." So let that sink in. Jared basically busted his face open, and I said, "All right, maybe you are my guy." So Arias again has not only been tremendous for the brand, he's been a good friend as well. There's a lot of things I'm going to say, but I know tonight he wanted some other people to speak as well, so I'm going to get back to a few of those things. What I'll say is, over the years, Arias has seen a lot of people come and go. As an organization, what we tried to create on day one was we wanted to build a brand. A lot of people get into this sport, they're in the ticket selling business, they want to sell tickets, you have 1 or 2 bad shows, you're out of business. We always wanted to build a brand so one day we could get to this point. And where are we at today? We're doing our 132nd MMA show tomorrow night, followed up by Muay Thai, which is our second event. We now do college wrestling, right? And we also do Fury professional grappling. We truly built a brand. That was our intentions on day one. And the last thing I'll say without boring you is, on the regional level, which we're considered, 90% of ticket sales typically come from the athletes themselves. Right? We built a brand. Less than 50% of our ticket sales come from the athletes themselves. That tells you that we have a casual fan base. It tells you what we endured in the early years when me and Arias would hang out in the back, and he's like, "I don't want to go out there," because there's like 10 people out there watching our fights. But we didn't give away free tickets. We really endured a lot. I'm going to go into what Arias does in his real day job, which to me is without getting choked up, is unbelievable what he does for kids. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to bring Dante up because he loves Dante. He wanted Dante to speak tonight. So Dante, come up and say a few words.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here to speak about Arias. I've been dealing with Cage Fury. I think I fought in Cage Fury too. Which is, yeah, I'm all right? Right? I think it was Cage Fury too. And now
Kimbo card, right?
I was before that. Before that, and then on the Kimbo card. Yeah. So yeah. So and then now, you know, I'm on every Cage Fury event. You know, with my fighters fighting all the cards. People don't realize I have a ton of fighters. I have over 40 fighters that fight for a lot of organizations, but Cage Fury is like one of the ones where all the matches are like almost perfect. Great fights to watch, and that's a hard thing to do. Guys, and that's in putting the matches together as a matchmaker. I've never seen a guy like Arias work so hard at avoiding all my fucking phone calls. But he gets back to me sometimes and finally, and I break his chops, and it's a hard job. But he's a stand-up guy, and what he said about his day job, he does a phenomenal thing with his day job, works with kids. I actually have some in the works with him who's going to kidnap a couple for me because I don't have any. But, I mean, he puts his heart and soul into it, and it's I could say, like, with the fighting, like, I'll tell him, he has patience. Like, I'll be like, listen, I don't like this fight, I like that, and he understands. He understands what it is to be a fighter and what these guys have a career, making a career, and what's a fair matchup, and he'll get back to it. And he has a lot of compassion towards it, and I can say personally, when I was going through a tough time, he reached out to me on himself. You don't have to do that, and gave me some words and made sure I was okay, and I'll never forget that. And he's a great guy, and I'm happy to speak with him about it, and he deserves this a lot. So let's give a round of applause. He's looked at me, he's like, if I go like this, and he thought I was going to go a little overboard, but I was nice talking to him.
So before I go back to Arias, I want to acknowledge 3 recent graduates here in the room. So we have Mr. Arias Garcia, who recently graduated high school, Aerial Letters Lines, and my beautiful daughter who's shaking her head to the phone call. So a little bit about Arias. He's not just the CFFC matchmaker. As I stated earlier, a lot of people don't know this, and I field phone calls. I know Arias does. What they don't understand is that he is, by his phone, his family will attest to this, 24/7, making a difference in children's lives. He works for the state of New Jersey. Am I saying it right? DCPP? How about that? And, there's a lot of children that are neglected, abused, and he could get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. He takes that call, he goes out and, provides comfort and safety to these children. It's a very noble job that he has. Arias has his degree from Rutgers Camden. Holly sent me some notes here, so I'm going to read it. He's got a double major in criminal justice and sociology. He also has 2 master's degrees, one being in child advocacy. So think about that. He's a CFFC matchmaker. So he does this out of passion. Probably has a lot of stress involved with it. But we all need a balance in our life, and we're just incredibly appreciative of everything he's done. And I know he helps children in his true job, but here he helps so many athletes achieve their dreams. There's hundreds of athletes that have left CFFC and have gone on to whether it's UFC, Bellator, or ONE FC, and that's a direct tie to Arias Garcia. He scouts out talent. Sometimes he overpays for that talent. I know that effect. But he's just done a tremendous job. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. I'm not the easiest person in the world to work for, and he has survived 13 and a half years. So it simply begins. And Dr. Dave. So let's talk about Dr. Dave for a second. No. So after the second show, I got to tell this story. So after the second show, I don't even remember who it was at the time. They reached up, they whispered in my ear, and they go, "Are you effing related to that guy?" I go, "Who?" They're like, "The ring announcer." I'm like, "No, why?" Like, well, why the fuck are you letting him in the ring? And I will tell you today, he's one of the best, I think, in the world. I think this brand is one of the best in the world at getting athletes to the next level. I mean, first of all, there's so many people in here who are eventually going to be in the Hall of Fame, and I don't want to give it away tonight, but it means a lot. So I want to bring up Josh Spivak, who him and his father Gary were, when I initially thought of the concept of the Hall of Fame, I wanted it to be something special. I just didn't want it to be a plaque. I wanted it to be something that really embodied all of their hard work that they put forth. We started this last year, and I want Josh to speak on basically what goes on behind the scenes to create this piece and why I think it's so special.
Yeah, so what's up, guys? This is my third time being up here, and I guess it's getting easier or harder, I'm not sure yet. But so obviously we made this piece, and it took a lot of time. Each one takes about between 2 and 3 months to produce. It has over 6 carats of black and white diamonds in it. It's made solid 14 karat gold, 2 tones, almost 6 pieces to put together. I'm sure you'll all get close to see it. And chains actually made in Italy, and a lot of passion behind it, a lot of time. And each one's unique. This one actually is engraved with the whole thing in the back with your name and that you're being inducted in. So yeah, it's awesome. And the box is the same as the New York Nets, so the box is even cool too. So, yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Arias, just let us know where your car is parked when you leave.
Yes, there's a lot of gold in here. The price has gone up over the past few months. So, but again, thank you to Gary, Josh, Chelsea, the entire team over there. Don't buy jewelry unless you buy it from them. I honestly mean that. They just run an incredible business. We're fortunate to have them involved in this partnership, and they do an absolutely tremendous job. So we're truly honored. Thank you. Again, my business partner, the third best matchmaker in the world. Sean and Mick get that credit, but in all seriousness, on this level, nobody does a better job than this man right here. So, Arias, congratulations. I'm honored to call you a friend.
So, I'm just super duper overwhelmed, humbled that Rob would put something up for something like this for me. What he said was totally accurate. We had Jared Gordon in our first CFFC together. I actually attended CFFC 1 as a fan, and to see it grow to where it is nothing short of amazing. And that's through the leadership of Rob. When we took over in CFFC 6, I remember how hard it was to get fighters because of the way CFFC 5 ended. People with a lot of money, and Rob and I had to beg fighters to come fight for us. And now, we have people like CM Punk that comes to our shows. We have fighters, that really want to fight for us. We got Moicano that's coming to our shows and doing commentary. So it's really been nothing short of amazing. Rob's been absolutely great. I think there's plenty of times in our last 14 years we've gone toe to toe, but I think it's just because we care so much about the product we put out there. So yeah, I just want to really thank Rob for all he's done. He's done so much for my family. I think everyone in my family has probably worked at least one event. And he does so much stuff behind the scenes that he'll never take credit for, he'll never make public, but he takes care of fighters even when he doesn't have to. He just goes above and beyond, and I appreciate him and Maria, and my favorite Haydak, Crystal, letting me into their lives. The second person I really want to thank is my wife. I think probably Rob and Maria are probably the only people in here that can attest, besides the fighters. During fight week, if I get a phone call from someone and I haven't talked to them in a week or so, I usually text you know that something's going on. And there's been so many times where I've been out with my family and I get a phone call, I'm like, and my mood just changes. So,
I'm sure his wife was like, this fucking Dante again. I already know that.
And I remember when Will Dick pulled out against Luke, we were at La Esperanza eating dinner, and I got the phone call, and it was like, my night's ruined. So I really appreciate. I really appreciate my family, especially my wife, because really, this job is stressful, and the only person I think that has more stress than me is Rob, just because it's his name, his company on the line. And again, I'm just really thankful that all you can come. I'm happy. My favorite fighter, Jonavin Webb, is here. Jonavin, I think one of my favorite moments ever was when Rob called me and said, "Hey, John got into the UFC," and I was like, "Wow." And he was like, "Do you want to tell him?" I'm like, "Wow." So I went over to Rob's house, and I think Rob had told Alex that his back hurt or something. And I think that was
April Fool's, first of all.
Yeah. So, that was absolutely one of the coolest nights ever, being like to watch John and Alex, realize his dream. He's been great to my kids, and I'll tell you the best Dante Rivera story. This is when I'm absolutely in love with Dante. And I can tell you the exact day. I can tell you the exact
Fucking handsome.
I can tell you the exact day. So Rob will remember this. So after Jonavin came back from the UFC, he wanted to fight regionally again. So we got him Dan Stitchen. And I remember Rob told me that when Dan Stitchen Rob picked him up at the airport, and the dude just threw the bags on the ground. And Rob had to pick it up. So he was a former UFC vet. He was, really not cool to us. Jonavin goes there and absolutely destroys him. After the fight, he pushes an official. Rob goes, give him his check. I give him his check. About 2 minutes later, it's me, Nick Limbo, who's the commissioner of New Jersey. He says, he pushed our official, we need his check back. Rob looks at me like, go get his check. So I'm like, shit, like the guy's all mad, Jonavin just beat him, now I gotta go, like he's probably not gonna get paid or probably gonna hold his purse. So I go back this is at the Borgata, I go back to the locker room and I said, Dan, we messed up your check and I need it back. So he gives it back to me, and while I'm walking out, Dante's running. He's running towards me like, yo, you okay? You okay? I heard some shit was about to go down. You all right? I said I'm good, but I really appreciate that. Again, this is just amazing what Rob does, and I'm like speechless. I'm so happy I get to share it with my family. I'm really speechless, and Rob, the smartest man in MMA. So. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Really.
Arias, she's doing